Yeah.
So you need to basically do the same thing with whatever you're wanting to do. So if
So
you have a different jacket, you need to have that PMX file in that folder, as well as you need to make a single texture folder and actually put the model's original textures in a folder, along with that also that jacket texture in that same folder, if that makes sense.
um, kind of. Well, I have all the because I only found like some clothes that I wanted, but I
Sure,
didn't really look through them.
sure.
Uh,
And some of them
so
might not fit exactly correctly too, just to give you a heads up. You'll have to kind of tweak stuff and mess with things.
yeah, let me see. So for the model, should I just like put the stuff in the same folder like right now?
Yep. So if you have like just we're gonna do trial, create like a new folder on your desktop if you want. Just call it whatever model you can call it, test model, whatever you want to call it.
Now also the PMX that's like from uh Unity, right? Or is that from Blender?
That's Blender. Remember how you take it? You take it from a PMX file and you take it into Blender, and then Blender you
Oh,
do all the stuff, and then Vizine's everything, and then you basically switch it over to an FBX file. That's when you take it to Unity. So this is like the pre-stage of that. You can do what we're doing right now, I believe, in Blender. I just couldn't figure it out. It was more of a pain in the ass than anything, and so far the PMX editor has been the easiest thing in the world. Because the issue you run into, in at least I did in Blender, is when you're combining bones and structures. So that's the biggest issue I ran into. With the PMX editor, it automatically merges all that, applies the proper weights and everything, where Blender just had issues doing that every single time I did it.
yeah.
So I couldn't get like a different head attached to a different body easily. Dendy, I think, did it with the Iron Man, but I just had too many issues with it, and PMX was so much easier for me to get used to and use.
And so like pretty much like the whole like putting a head on another model is like difficult to do or not really?
No, it's not difficult. It's just time consuming, is all it is.
Because is it because you have to like make it fit on the body as well?
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
you're exactly correct. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the PMX with the model and whatnot in it with
Okay, so yeah, open that up for me. I just want to see what the file structure looks like. So if you open up that Miku folder, so you see how you have a textures folder and then you have the actual PMX Miku right there, the actual 3D model.
yeah.
So grab a jacket or whatever you want to put in there just for testing it out. Leave that folder open, but find your clothes or whatever that you're wanting.
Okay. Hold on.
Just because we're going to need to have that folder here in a second. So what's a piece of clothing that you want to try and put on this model just for
We'll just try beanies.
this beanie? Okay, so you have a PMD file is what they are, so it looks like. So whichever beanie that you're wanting to do, I assume those are low polys and normal high polys. So you can do whichever one you want. Grab one of those beanie poly.
These ones?
Yeah, grab one of those.
Uh,
I don't know which one,
I
but
guess I'll just do this one. So just put it in here.
yep, you're exactly correct. And then copy the texture as well that you want to copy over as well too. So whichever one of those textures that are in that folder.
Oh shit.
So it'd be like B1. Yeah, so you could copy all through four of those and then copy all of the other four textures that are there. The other four beanie textures.
Oh,
That
these
are
ones.
both.
Okay.
Yep. Copy all those.
And then just click on this one.
Yeah, so now they're going to actually go in that textures folder is where you're going to want to put them. Nope, don't paste them in there. Paste them in the texture folder. Because like this model, for example, the original model has all the textures in that folder. That's where it grabs all those. So when we update and change this PMX file, we want it to pull the beanie texture from this other, where all the other textures are, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so then, and do I do these two, or just that's it?
You can just do those if you want. I don't know exactly. Those are, I don't know what they're called, what they do exactly.
I think they're just the shadows. I don't know.
All right, so go back. If you want, minimize these windows for right now is fine. And go to the PMX editor. So the main thing you're going to look in, basically, PMX view is just your viewpoint. The other thing is going to be your actual folder for opening up PMX files and importing PMX files. If that makes sense. So it's two separate things. So you'll hit File, Open. on the other
Oh,
thing,
on the other
actually.
one. Shit. Okay.
Yeah. And then go find that one on your desktop.
What the hell is it?
What did you name it?
Oh, it was test model. I think, yeah, here it is. Okay.
So yeah, open up that. So the first one I want to open up is, yeah, go ahead and do that one. We'll just open up the original model for right now. Open, take a second. And there's your model.
So now, would I have to like redo the color and everything again on it, or is this just
No, well,
like?
texture, colors, all texture work, so you can do that in Unity.
Oh
That
no
can be
no
your
no no
last
that's
step.
yeah no that's the thing. Like I already did it in Unity. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had the whole thing like the with the purple hair and the black eyes and whatnot. So then, would I have to just do it again with this one, or like how do I explain it? Um, Basically, like I changed the hair color and I changed the ears and I changed the eye color and whatnot. Right. So you see how this is blue right now.
Mm-hmm.
So after we do the beanie and stuff, like would I have
Yeah.
to change up the color again?
No, it's that. Remember, you just move the material over on in Unity. All we're doing is modifying the actual 3D model. I mean, it has the textures there and stuff like that, and it's going to call on that texture when you first bring it into Blender. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you take it into Unity and stuff like that, yeah, it'll have this original texture if you choose to copy that texture over. But you can just copy over your other texture file that you edited and put it in there.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, so we have this model open. So you're wanting to put a beanie on the head, right?
Yeah.
Are you needing to remove anything or just put a beanie on the head of this model?
Just a beanie on the head of it, and
Go
like
ahead.
um,
Yeah,
uh,
then if you want, then minimize the PMX viewer, like all of it right now, and open up another instance. You can have multiple instances of PMX editor open. So minimize this for right now. Just minimize both of them,
oh, okay.
and just open up another instance of the PMX editor. Yep.
Okay.
So each asset that you bring in, like for example, the beanie itself, we want to make sure that there's nothing else attached to it per se. So if you want now, go ahead and open up the beanie file this time instead. And then beanie, yep. It's probably going to come in all white. You won't see it.
Yeah.
So the way to fix that is go to the materials tab. And in there's your material. You see it right there. Go ahead and click on it
This one
on the
right
left-hand side there. Yep, that's your material. And then where it says down there, see where's text b3.png?
Yeah.
In front of that, we need to put the name of that folder that we have all the textures in, and then a backslash, if that makes sense.
Kind of. So like right next to it, like right there, or on.
No, in front of it. In front of it. So all the way at the beginning there. So what's the name of the folder? Go back to your folders, if that's all right. What's the name of the texture folder? I forgot. Yeah, that one. So it's just called TEX is what it's called, right?
Yeah.
So just like for normal file structure, what you would do is put TEX and then a backslash in it. And then the other way, actually. I apologize. Right above the enter key.
Okay. Fuck. Okay.
There you go. And now hit tab. And now you see how the texture just appeared now.
Yeah.
So it's all about the file structure. So that's why I said try and put them all into the textures in the same folder. It'll just make things easier when you have to do this for multiple assets.
Okay.
So if you want now, you can minimize the view thing there for right now. Just minimize that. And then just kind of look around the model, make sure that we're good. I don't see anything
So is it the
bone-wise.
same thing like Unity like Unity and Blender? Like you could just okay, there you go, like that.
Yep, you can move around it. Yeah, you can do that up there, or you can physically. I think it's right click and it lets you circle around it. There you go.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay. So now what we're gonna do is go back and open up the other window that we had open there. It had the not that one actually.
Oh, which one?
That one. Yeah, we're still messing with the beanie. Yep. So this one. Yep.
Oh.
And then yep, that one. Have that one open too. Open that up. So go to File. We're gonna save this now because we now adjusted the texture. So we're gonna save it.
Save or save as?
Just save. Yep. So we're gonna overwrite the original PMX file. So whatever it was called, just call it like beanie, I guess. Yeah.
And
Dot
it's it.
.pmd.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Actually, click on that name. Whoop.
oops.
Click on that name just so it's taking over the same previous name. Yep. Then save. Yep. Yep. All right. Now you can close out of that window. Close out all that. We're done with that one. So now on this one, open up the other window. Instead of opening it this time, we're going to actually go to import. So go to File, Import, and then we're going to import that beanie file now. And then, yep, make sure all those are checked good. So do you remember how you just like your height and scale and stuff in Unity?
Yeah.
So the scaling is there. So you can mess with it if you need to increase the beanie size. It takes a couple tries. You just have to delete the beanie or Control Z, undo the beanie, and then adjust the size and bring it back in again, type of thing. And that's how you can adjust the size. It's just right there where it says scale.
Well, if my cause I remember mine is at a 0.9. So, for
But
this,
you can try putting it at 0.9. I just don't know how big it'll be. Like that's the thing. It's just trial and error until you get it lined up right. And that's the thing. You just have to keep removing it and then importing again, adjusting the scale, seeing if it looks good. If it does look good, then go with that type of thing.
okay.
Oh, I'll leave everything else this way it should be. It should always be an add, and then it's always, you see where it says model adjustment, where it's merging the bones and all that, bone position and all that.
Yeah.
Leave that as it is. You don't have to do anything with that at all. So you just
Okay.
hit OK. And then yes. And go to materials. I don't know if it fixed itself or what happened there. Go to the last texture actually in materials. Did it not import it? Usually it should be like the last thing. This is the problem with the PMX editor, by the way. It's always in Japanese.
Yeah.
Some of it's in English, but yeah. You can click on that last texture. Usually when it imports a new asset, it's always the last texture is what it is. And actually, up at the top, do you see where it says MSK?
MSK.
Not in that window, but in the other window.
Yeah, right here.
Yep, click on that. So what this does is it allows you to hide meshes. So you check some of those boxes if you want, uncheck them, and you'll see stuff disappear. So you can hide stuff to see. So the most recent material that should have came in should be the last one on that list. If it is, if it was the beanie always the most recent item is always at the bottom. So uncheck that and check it again. So that's issues. So the beanie did not get imported. So open up another PMX editor again. I wonder if we need to convert it from a PMD to PMX, maybe. That's my guess. I don't know. So yeah, open up the beanie again, and then just this time, let's try and save it as something else.
No, it wasn't import.
Oh yeah, it's open.
Okay.
Yep, you're exactly correct. You have to go to materials again. Whoa. Interesting. Okay, this is a first, by the way. After you've imported it. Okay, do you have the other beanie file actually by chance?
Yeah, I have different. There's like 4 different ones that you can
Okay.
do.
Let's just do something, try something out. Go ahead and launch Blender, if that's all right.
Okay.
We're going to try and convert it from a PMD to a PMX file,
Okay.
just to see if it helps. I wouldn't think, because it had no problem bringing it in, so I don't know what the issue was there.
Okay, so that's the other thing too. I need to ask, like, for items and stuff. I saw a video where like they went on Blender, but they went into like a part of Blender that was meant for like items and whatnot. Like it wasn't like this. The square was like a lot more smaller. But I can't remember where exactly I went to like get it and stuff.
To adjust the size of the square?
Like to basically, yeah, to like adjust the size and whatnot and all that of the item that I wanted to put on the avatar.
Oh, you just hit import model, and then down at the bottom it'll be like one of the things you can adjust the scale when you bring it in.
Okay. Oh, so I go to import model.
And then right there where it says scale at 0.08, that's where it's adjusting the scale.
Okay.
Yeah, so go find that beanie now. Go find another beanie file if you want. That one we might have done might have messed up somehow.
Yeah. That one. Okay, there it is.
Okay, so try and save that now as a PMX.
Wait, as a PMX?
Yeah, save file or yeah, export. You can export model too.
Not an FBX?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we don't want to do that. So just go file, go to export. Is there one for PMX?
Yeah, right here.
Do that.
Wait, what's the Mickey Miku dance model?
Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's what it should be. And just title it beanie.pmx. There shouldn't be spaces, by the way. I don't think. It'll have issues, more than likely.
I think, I don't know if I put it, yeah, I did put a space on there.
There
Okay.
you go. And then if you want, try and put it in that same folder like you had on the desktop screen,
On
so you know where it's at.
the folder that we just made.
Yeah, the test model one. Yep. You could put it inside of there. That's fine. And minimize.
So now I go on here on the new PMX.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Actually, open up your folder again. Leave this up as it is. I think you put the file in the previous folder to the current folder. I keep talking current folder we're in. So I think you need to move the PMX file into one more folder deeper. Or where is it?
What the hell?
Look like Blender's still open. Oh, that's weird.
Okay, I'll just start it again, I guess. Alright, or just put it in there.
Yep, just to export and see if it lets you. Check and see if it's in that folder now, maybe. What the hell? Why? Maybe try and save it as a PMX? I have no clue. Instead of exporting.
Here, let me try
I don't
this
know.
real quick.
It's just weird.
What the hell? Yeah, it's not there.
Okay. Yeah, so go back to Blender and see if we can't just save it instead of exporting. Give that a shot. So file, save as. Do we have the option for none? So we can save it as a blend file. We can't save it as an actual. Why?
Do you think it's just the model itself?
Maybe.
Because then we could just try something else, like a jacket or something.
Well, the thing is, it's bringing it in fine. I just don't know why it's having issues. Like, it's bringing it in fine into the PMX editor, but yeah. If you want, just try and import the other beanie, the other PMD beanie that you have out there. See what happens into the.
Into the editor, or
Yeah, go ahead and copy though. Yeah, open up your folder. Go find that other beanie PMD file because there was like 4 of them, wasn't there?
yeah.
So find the other one that's in there that we haven't edited and just copy it. Don't cut it. Just copy the folded or whatever.
This one.
Or yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just copy it this time instead of cutting it because the other one we edited and now we can't get it back for some reason.
Yeah. Okay, so now where do I go from here?
You need to put it inside the. Open up your folder and go put it, remember, inside the other folder. As well as you need to copy. Oh, the textures all should be there, so you're fine on that. Test model, yep. Make you, yeah, open up that one. And paste. Okay, so that's in there. So it's the other one that we want to use, the low poly one. Non-folded.
Okay.
Okay, so go back to the PMX editor again. Or actually, since we know it's going to work, go to the, close this one out, this PMX editor, go to your other one. And just close that window out for right now, it's fine. And then go to the other window. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Go to File, Import. The low poly one, first one, yep. And open. Yep. Should be the most recent one. Which is that one. Yep. Yep, that's got to be it. And then put TEX in front of it like last time.
Oh, shit.
And hit Tab. There we go, the beanie's there. If you want to minimize that window for right now, it's fine. And then go to MSK again. And then right click in there and select hide all or uncheck all or something like that. Right click, check none. What it's going to do is hide all the meshes, and then go to the very last one. It should be the most recent one, number 40. There you go.
Okay.
And then we want to select that mesh, so you can literally drag and select it. Like make a square, like, you know, or if you were going to highlight it and select it. Left click and drag, yep, there you go. Now you should have full control over it. If you want to change your view position, you can. So now what we do is, so yeah, move your camera slightly that way. Yeah, that's probably fine. And then right click back over where you were at earlier. Just make sure it's still left click there. Right click and check all. Now you can see it and adjust it. So the green triangle moves it up and the blue one moves it back and forth. Oh, there you go. It might be a little bit big. I don't know for sure. It just all depends. The other thing too is, since she's got long hair and stuff like that, what you can do is just remove the excess hair when it comes time.
Oh, really?
Yep. So you can just remove it.
How do I do
You
that?
can. So you need to figure out which one on the left-hand side is the hair, if that makes sense. So if you're happy with the position right now, like, do you want to adjust the position anymore, you think, or?
Oh, no, I feel like that.
Okay. So then what I would do is uncheck everything.
So right click
And then, yep. And then find the hair ones. Yeah, you see some are named here, I should say. But figure out which ones are which. So, because we don't want to delete like any of the front hair, if that makes sense. It's mostly that back hair that's sticking out that we want to remove.
Side. There it is, right there. Okay, so I found the hair.
So can we, just to try something, so it's 19, so check everything and hide 19 then. Let's see what it looks like, actually. I'm kind of curious. Hide 19. Oh, it actually doesn't look bad, man.
And
So the only thing I can
fit in with it too. That's the good part.
Yeah, so the only thing I can see is that there's a little bit of hair. You can scroll in to zoom in, but there's a little bit of hair on the top left, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's sticking out?
Yeah.
So we need to get rid of that, I think, yeah. So if you can figure out which hair is that, so we can edit it and just remove that little bit. Otherwise, if you want and you don't want to deal with it right now, it's a little bit easier to edit meshes in Blender.
I mean, it's just the one little hair, so I mean, it wouldn't really matter.
So so say you want to remove that back hair, right? So now what you would do is right click in that white area, like where we're doing the check none. And there's
Okay.
an option for delete hidden parts. And so that'll delete anything that's hidden. So that hair 19 is going to disappear now. So, yep, delete it. Yep. Now, good. There we go. So now that hair's gone, 19's gone. It no longer exists.
Okay.
So now, if you want, I think looks pretty good. Like I said, there's a little bit of hair on some of the parts. Those are some easy things you can fix in Unity or in Blender, I should say. If you're happy with it, you can export it or whatever you want to do.
Okay. So
So go to File in
I
the
can
other
X out of
menu.
this, right?
Yep, it's in the other menu. You can't use that file. Yeah, it's dumb.
That's weird, but okay.
So now we
Export.
can actually, if you want, save as. Come on. No, deleting them. I'll be back in a
For sure.
I'm back. Sorry about that, buddy.
No, that's cool.
Google just called everybody. So
Okay, so I think I saved it. Yeah, I saved it. Yeah, it's in
you
the.
saved it.
Yeah, it's in the new file.
Okay, cool. So it's now under all that PMX file. So now, if you want, you can close out a PMX editor completely.
I just keep it open just in case something
Yep, that's fine.
happens.
Yep, and then just go ahead and launch Blender again, or create a new scene, I guess. File new. Find that model. And then fix model. then there's your model with the bee. And then you just continue on like your merry way. So you can separate all the materials, and then, like I said, edit the hair that's sticking out. That's it, kind of something easy to do. Let's put this way: you can decimate stuff in the PMX editor. It just doesn't do a very good job, if that makes sense. You don't have as fine of control over the mesh as you do in Blender.
Yeah. So basically, PMX editor is just to like put the stuff on, but after that, you can just do the same thing you've been doing on Blender and whatnot.
Yep, you're exactly correct. So yeah, you can continue on like you're right now. Yep. So yeah, the only thing I would touch up, and this is just me personally, but it's your call, what you want to do, would be just to touch up that hair. So, deleting those, separating the meshes, and then just kind of deleting the excess hair that's there if you can.
And so now, how would I do that? Exactly.
So separate the materials. Let's take a second. And then, so now you can select individual materials. You could select the shirt. You could select that front hair there. So select the hair. That you don't have to do it over there. Actually, you can. Yep. And actually, here, just a tip to make things a little bit easier for you to see. Do you see the bones and stuff? I assume you do. All the black lines, like the bones.
Yeah.
So you can select those. Hit H, and it hides them. To make them everything appear again, it's Alt H if you need to do that. Otherwise, you just hit Fix Model and it'll fix it again. So now hit Tab, and it'll go into Edit mode.
Tab.
Yeah, so now it goes into edit mode, and now if you zoom in, you can kind of adjust and fix those up top. So you can select the individual verts, or you can select, usually you want to select where the little points are, where it meets that little point lines.
And I right click those, right?
Yep. And then just hit delete on your keyboard. Delete vertices, yep. The top one. There you go. And so you just do that for all those there. Just the only thing is that when you're doing this, for example, this person's wearing a beanie, right? Mm-hmm. The only issue with it that I could see is the dynamic bones. I wouldn't recommend potentially doing that since it's going to move the hair that you might be decimating still through the cap.
Yeah.
So you could potentially do it for some of the front hair there if you want, but I would try and avoid it, try not to do it for the back. There's one thing I also forgot to do that we didn't, but I think it fixed it and did it itself, was in the PMX editor, like you would have had those extra bones for that back hair there. Mm-hmm. We didn't remove those, but since you hit Fix Model, I think it removes any bones that aren't attached to meshes. And so there was nothing there for it to attach, so it just removed those bones. So, and just to give you a heads up, I'm still learning PMX. I've imported 2 models from it so far. So that gives you an idea how new I am to it. But it works. Yeah. It's just an extra step of another program to do it. And there might be easier ways to do things. I just haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I feel you on that. These side hairs though it's not a big deal.
So they're just a different one. So hit Tab again to go back to non-editing mode, object mode, and then select those hairs, and you should be able to hit Tab on those. Yep, and then Tab, and now you can edit those if you wanted, and that should be both for left and right, unless it's different ones. If you want to bring those in, otherwise you can have them sticking out. It's your call. It just takes time doing all this.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Oh. You can actually hold down Control and delete as well too. So Control and then drag with your cursor, I think it is. And it'll start drawing like a circle. Is it left click or right click maybe? Or is it Control Shift maybe, or Shift? I don't know.
Maybe it is Shift.
It basically gives you like a cursor you can draw and make a circle on.
There it is.
Yeah, you can try.
Let's try this out real quick. Yeah, okay, yeah.
You can select multiple, make it a little bit easier. Hopefully that you have a general idea what you're doing somewhat now.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. Like it's I think I'll probably mess with the PMX editor for like the jacket and stuff.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the jacket, you're gonna notice sometimes you'll have clipping like what you're seeing with this hair and stuff like that. Your arms and stuff are gonna clip and they're not gonna be exactly correct. But that could be fixed in here. So the other thing you'll run into is sometimes the position of like say pants and like shoes will be off from the original position.
Mm-hmm.
You can move them over and stuff like that. You just had to hide all the meshes, select specifically the shoe, highlight it, and then check them all again, and then you can move and adjust it that way. Oh.
Fuck. Just gonna do these like one by one. So you see how the black lines are right there and stuff. Now are those
Yep,
like, do I just leave
those are
those?
there. No, you want to delete those. Those are
Okay,
actual words there, so you need to delete them. Yep.
okay.
See how they're disappearing? Yeah, you want to make sure all those are gone. Because people will see those if they get, close enough to you. And it's a good idea what you did earlier, where you made it like a backup copy of the original model, just to make it things a little bit easier for you if you need
Yeah.
to go back to it.
Okay.
Remember, that's a separate one. You got to select the front hair to fix that.
Oh.
So hit tab, I think, and then select the front hair again. There you go. Hit tab again. There you go. You got it. This looks good, pretty good, man. It actually turned out really well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Nice thing is you can still make the ears move and stuff like that. But personally, this is just me. I would say don't move any of the other hair, just in case if it does clip outside the beanie. Yeah. How does it look underneath behind it, actually, too? Oh, you can't even see.
Yeah, I can't stand
Oh, wow.
that.
Dude, that like fits perfect.
Right?
You lucked out so much on that. It could have been a pain in the butt. That's awesome.
So, shit, that's that tab.
Mm-hmm. You remember your way for the rest of this if I jump off for a little bit? Or you need help?
Basically, okay, so just basically after I do this, then I
Mm-hmm.
just do regular,
Yep,
like
exactly.
the whole
Mm-hmm.
translation and all that, and Visemes and whatnot.
Yep. Just make sure you join the meshes and then do translations and then do visemes. Yep.
And then after that, I
Or
just put it in Blender.
translations, eye tracking, visemes. Sorry. Yeah. And after that, export it to FBX, take it
Now,
over into Unity,
the
and you can.
other now another question I had, can I put it into the same project as from with the other Miku?
So here's personally what I would recommend doing. Are you talking for Unity specifically?
Yeah.
So for every model I make a new project,
Okay.
because if I make a mistake in something on my project and say I've got multiple models in there, it can affect the other models too. Like if I have one that's unchecked for some reason or checked, what I mean, like it's enabled and I make a change and do an animation, it could cause potentially issues. I don't know. I've seen people put them all in one without any problems, but I always just create new projects and start fresh for new models. But it's your call what you want to do. You could do it like you've been doing it, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking is just because like I have animations on it and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
like yeah,
Redoing those or pain in the butt and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So okay, so now here's the other question. So when I put this one in, can I use like the materials that are already in there for the first
Mm-hmm.
model, and then just
Yep. Just know that there's going to be at least one extra sphere when you go to the materials, and that'll be for that beanie, if
okay,
that makes sense.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you can change the color of the beanie. It's just like you normally would with any of those textures. You can change them out and all that. So yep.
okay, okay, all right.
So yeah, it's literally from here on out. After you get it with PMX, like think of PMX as like your first step in it, and then after that it's Blender, and it's just continue on normal after that type of thing. It's not anything different.
So now the
It's
adjusting, say like if I needed to adjust the jacket or something or the
Mhm.
shoes, um, how would I do that? in PMX editor? Like,
So those are a little bit more complex. The issue I struggle sometimes with is like, at least for jackets and sometimes jeans as well too,
mm,
is it doesn't line up with the bones, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
the armature doesn't line up correctly. You can adjust the material, the mesh, like the mesh for the shirt and stuff like that. You can adjust and pull it to where it's in position.
mm,
I kind of try not to do it, like try not to tear it too much, because when you do that, some of the vertices, like say for example this beanie, if we were to pull it too much, it's going to really get jagged. And on
mm,
top of that, if you pull it way too much, it separates the meshes, and you'll get slits in some of the clothing. That's why sometimes like you'll see people with like cuts in their clothing when they've decimated. It's basically separated the mesh in those points.
oh, okay,
So, so you gotta be careful and stuff. I'm still figuring out ways to do clothing correctly,
mm-hmm,
so you can do it. It's just I haven't had enough time to mess with it. Like that's the thing. I've done 2 models so far. Both of them I have done. One of them I have done completely custom on the shirt, the pants, the shoes, and the hair. And I started with like a base model with literally nothing, and
mm-hmm,
just added clothing and all that. And it turned out right. The shirt tears too much. I can't fix it easily. I probably could fix it if I spent a bunch more time on it. But I just got fed up with it. The
yeah,
other model I brought in, I had like a previous outfit from another model. It was the gray model I normally wear in the
mm-hmm,
game or whatever. I just took his entire suit basically and attached it to another mesh, another base model with hair and everything attached already.
okay, all right. Well, if anything, I'm probably just gonna put this one in the same Miku one, and that way I could just like. Well,
Yeah,
yeah. Also, that's
just
the
more
other
thing. This is gonna be trial and error for you. Like I said, you're learning like me. Like I said,
Yeah.
I haven't had much time with the PMX editor. This is what it's capable of doing, and it's a lot easier to do it with the PMX editor than it is to try and do it in Blender. Blender's
Mm-hmm.
really good for doing touch-up work like this, where you're actually adjusting the actual mesh. If you were doing this, what you're doing right now in the PMX editor, it would take out massive chunks. It doesn't let you select like individual little points at all.
Yeah.
It just selects a whole area basically, and when you hit delete, it just tears away the skin. It doesn't let you do it like this, like what you're doing, where you're like actually fine picking which meshes you want to break down properly.
Yeah. So now, if I put it in the same project, right?
Mhm.
Do I just do the same thing, like put the override in the animations thing, or
For the animation, yeah, it'll be the same like you did before. Yep.
okay, okay,
If it's the
because
exact same, like if you've already uploaded this model with animations and everything, yeah, you should be fine.
okay, okay, that's
Yep.
yeah, that was
The only
first
thing
thing.
is, like I said, the big thing is I would say only do dynamic bones on the ears, probably. That would be the big thing I'd recommend. You could potentially do it with the front hair. I just don't know if you're able to select it properly where it's just the front hair. It's just going to be trial and error more than anything, because you'll have to move it back and forth and see if it clips through the head beanie.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just to give a heads up on that.
All right. Well, thank you for the help.
Yeah, no problem.
Hopefully, I could,
If,
make it look a lot more better than what it looks like
yeah,
now.
it
But
will. It will.
yeah, make sure to show you guys though when I'm done with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, Nerix. Thank you.
No problem. Anytime, buddy.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
I'll see you, buddy.